Welcome, families from all over the world, to a new episode of the World Model Kit podcast. We have read all your comments, your inbox messages, and also the poll you did on our Instagram account, which I imagine you are already following. And today's topic is the arrival of a little brother or sister to the family. And for that, I am with my longtime friend and colleague, Miss Jocelyn, who I must say is an expert on the subject, as she has three wonderful children whom I know and love a lot, and they haven't all been seen in the belly. So, who better to tell us a bit about what this situation is like, this new challenge again of the arrival of a little brother or sister, what she has experienced as a mom, and well, obviously, we will give you the tips, the recommendations you always expect from our podcast.
Definitely, the arrival of the second child it's full of many emotions and also many doubts. I had a fear when I was pregnant that I would say I love my first daughter so much. How am I going to love my second daughter? I was afraid that love would be divided. But actually, when your child is born, what you feel is that your love has multiplied. And it's an incredible feeling, but it involves many challenges and work that you have to do beforehand with the older one. For example, including your child in this stage of pregnancy, if possible, taking them to the ultrasound so they can see their little sibling from the belly. When you feel your little one moving, place your hand on your belly so they can be part of this beautiful experience of seeing how their sibling moves inside the belly. Maybe go to the stores to buy decorations for the room, the little siblings' clothes. And since your older child is also little, don't leave them out of the process, but maybe buy two identical shirts, for example, and say, look, one is for you and one is for your little brother. Or if you are going to buy toys, one toy is for you and one for your little brother. Make sure your older child does not feel ignored or displaced, but included. So they are part of this moment and enjoy this time with the arrival of the new member. So, for example, there are tips, right, that we could use during this stage of pregnancy.
What could they be? Well, in fact, you have already mentioned quite a few of them. I think before starting with the tips, I always hold on to something we repeat, and you will surely hear us repeat in all our episodes, right? Enjoy, right? Enjoying means going calmly with patience, breathing, right? Living each of the experiences of each of the challenges or new stages that we are marking in the lives of our children, right? So, having said that, yes, in fact, part of the tips you mentioned is the most important is to include the older sibling in the whole process from the very first moment, right? Take them, as Jocelyn said, Jocelyn, to the shopping. Let them choose little things. Maybe what would you like? What little animal? A special stuffed toy for your little sibling's room. Also, buy a little something for the little one. Also, explain the process, right? In a very simple way. Explain the pregnancy, the baby, also explain or show photos of when it was his moment, right? So he feels that he also went through that moment, that it is something normal, natural, part of the life process, right? Show him his baby photos, how he has evolved, how he has grown until becoming the little brother at the age he is now, that he is part of each of the details, really, right? And of course, then comes the time when we have to get ready for the arrival, right? Help, let them be part, for example, of the moment of helping to pack the bag for the clinic, explain to them about those days when mom will be away from home, and well, involve them even in the arrival, right? When the little sibling arrives, there are sometimes, I've heard many cases where the little sibling arrives with a gift for the older sibling, right? So your little sibling came with this for you, right? How meaningful it is for the older sibling to receive something from their new little brother or sister, really. And well, I don't know what.
No, and to see, for example, that there will be moments when your older child will feel jealous. Or, for example, during pregnancy, many family members and friends tell your little one, Inche, hey, your little brother is coming, you're going to play with him, you're going to share things, you're going to prepare your game, okomda. And when the baby is born, the baby barely cries to drink milk. So that creates your older child doesn't understand, like, wasn't my little brother supposed to come to play? Crying, and now only cries, drinks milk, sleeps.
So explain to your child how it really is when your baby is born.
What is expected, right, with the arrival of the baby, and also when the baby is born and they arrive home. It's about making the older child part of the baby's care.
Do not exclude him or see him as grown up, because it happens that we already see the older one as almost an adult and demand grown up things from him. But he's really just a little one. Both are babies. They are probably 1, 2, or 3 years apart, but he is still little. We see him, of course, as big because we compare him to the newborn baby, but he is little and there are many things he won't understand. So it is important, for example, if you have to give the baby milk, have the older one by your side. They can gently touch the baby, or if they have a doll, they can pretend to feed the doll. When it's time to put the baby to sleep, they can also join in, and all 3 or 4 of you can sleep together, right? Dad, mom, children, I stay with some point in. What have you mentioned? I believe that always, whether teachers, uncles, caregivers, parents, whatever we say, the words we use will come from love, but we also have to keep in mind that we are human and we can make mistakes. So you must have heard, maybe mentioned, and there's no problem. It's part of learning two phrases like now you are going to be the older one, the big one, and you are going to take care of your little sibling. We must avoid giving them that responsibility, no matter if they are just words, no matter if we think they won't take it literally, because believe it or not, our children are indeed receiving that message, and the message stays with them of now I am the big one. So when did I also stop being a child and now I am the big brother? At what point do I have to take charge? So we always have to think and reflect a lot on our words before expressing them to our children. It is true that they can help us, as you said at one point, with simple things like passing the bottle, bringing the diapers, or handing over the wipes. So they do feel part of it without this really implying that now you are the big one and now you are also going to take charge, because that is not the role that corresponds to them at that moment.
And you know what?
It is important to tell visitors, friends, and family who come to your house to see the baby to first interact with the older child, because it has happened to me that grandparents, cousins, uncles, everyone would arrive and go straight to the baby, and my little one was left like, I don't understand, before you came to see me, and now, of course, it's a big change. There are even people who tell the older one to wait a little bit, that they are going to give something to the little brother, which torments them into doing nothing. And you see the older one's face like, I don't understand why this person who always cared about me is rejecting me now. And the newborn baby doesn't yet realize who you're giving attention to, right? Los Aritos are always recommended to tell visitors to go to the older child first and include them in greeting the baby. Hey, is this your little brother? Let's see. Show me your little brother. And maybe play a little with the older child too. Make them part of it, right? Not fall into the mistake of leaving them aside. Exactly. And in these two, connected to what you mentioned about not leaving them aside, it's important. We know that the arrival of a second or third sibling, it's difficult because they also create new challenges for the family, for the parents in terms of time and everything. But it's essential, crucial to maintain a space with the older brother or sister, right? A space for him or her with mom and dad that is without the baby. And also, also create moments where everyone is together, like games or songs or some dance, even if there are babies in arms. But it is important to give exclusive time at least once or twice a week or as often as possible, so that he feels he hasn't lost that important place, right? Because as you mentioned, with visits, there will definitely be jealousy. There will be situations where even if we think our children don't question things, they do in their own way with their level of emotional maturity, of thought, but they do take it into account and they do feel it. And related to that would also be the topic of validating emotions, right?
If he feels jealous, if he feels upset, frustrated, we need to listen to him, validate the emotions, and obviously establish a conversation according to his age, whether he is the older brother or sister, to explain, to revisit the topic. It doesn't matter if it's once, twice, or several times, but give him the space to express and feel the freedom to express those emotions, knowing they will be recognized, understood, and supported as well.
And you know what happens? It's not just the child, the older sibling can feel jealousy and frustration, but we as parents, when we see the older child suffering, having jealous outbursts, or displaying behaviors we didn't see before, we feel guilty. Did we say, why did we give them another sibling? But really, if it's true, well, giving your child a sibling is the best gift you can give them because they will fight at some point, they will feel sad, but they will accompany each other. However, for the sibling relationship to be beautiful, the work we do as parents will influence it. Not to compare them, not to try to make them compete, but rather to include both, let both know they are loved, they are cherished, they are special,
And each one with their characteristics, with their characters they can being complete opposites.
and with their strengths and with their weaknesses too, but always give them the message that they are the best thing they will have in life. They will always be together for each other.
Another thing is, and in what you mentioned, I also remember that regressions can happen precisely because of that. It's the arrival of the new little brother or sister. The older sibling might have some regression. Maybe they want to sleep with mom and dad again, want to use a diaper again, which we just discussed in our previous episode, want to suck their thumb again, or wet the bed at night. I mean, there can be moments when there are regressions because let's not forget that the entire emotional part is also very connected to the biological part of our children. So, knowing how to address, how to face it in the most positive way, actually, those small regressions that can happen again by validating emotions, talking, asking them to, right? Sometimes we think that our children are obviously in the process of learning how to express and manage and even feel or discover what they are feeling. But yes, asking them how they feel or what they feel to be able to listen to them and support them in the best way, right? And well, try to guide or refocus those small regressions that may occur.
So, truly, this is a stage that involves challenges, but it is truly wonderful, especially this. The biggest change happens when you go from having one child to two, because with the other siblings, it's easier since the older siblings have already experienced what it's like to be a sibling, to share with another sibling, but they also take care of the third or the fourth. They don't take care, but they interact with the third, they play with him. And for us as parents, it's easier too.
Yes, well, I also think it's important. I say this more from the perspective of a teacher, really, that they communicate all these changes to us and also inform us about the arrival or future arrival of a little sibling. Let us know how the children are feeling at home, if they express any emotion, if they show any regression, because communication between home, nursery, and school is very important. We, as teachers, need to be attentive to help, support, and advise them as much as we can. No, but every sign, every change, every attitude is important because sometimes at the nursery we see some things, some attitudes, or suddenly they are fighting with their little friends or they are more possessive, saying, this is mine, mine, me, because there is a new little sibling at home, right? So that communication, home, school, home, nursery, is always important, and being attentive, as we have mentioned in our previous episodes, also to the signals, the small signals in emotional behavior in different topics, in different areas, in the little ones, to see how to support them in the best way.
And know that just as your older child will need support and comfort, you as a dad or mom will too, because you will also go through changes and emotions that you might not have felt before. So it's as I also validate for you to seek help, to talk about it, because sometimes as parents, we feel ashamed to say that we feel guilty, that we no longer know what to do with the eldest, because suddenly we sound like bad parents, but it's important that you can express it. So, we are wrapping up this beautiful topic that gives us much to talk about, but we have loved that you asked for it because it truly is wonderful. So, we will see you in the next episode of our World Lima podcast.
We read you, leave us your comments, send us a message, and well, maybe we'll put up another survey to see what topic you'd like us to continue discussing. And well, that's the idea, to share in a simple way without much theory, maybe, but in a way, well, here I am, the expert, as I say, with 3 children, and well, I with my.
In addition to our 20 years or more as teachers, also with my
Students, we are going to go.
Exactly. So, well, see you in the next episode and stay tuned to the social media for everything we also have.